Hello everyone, welcome to the Let's Integrate video series where we will discuss an integration scenario that's done in real-time business in Dynamics 365 and Power Platform projects. It could vary from simple to complex integration. Integration could be within the Microsoft product suite, or it could be with any third-party applications as well. In every episode, we invite a special guest to share their experience about an integration scenario that they worked with, so that it could help everyone. So, we discuss 3 key points in every episode. Firstly, what is the integration is going to about, where a briefing of the integration use case is shared. Secondly, how it helped the business or how it added value to their project. Well, ideally it covers the problems that the integration solved. Then, briefing about how it is done, where the guest will brief about the details of it at a high level. Finally, as an add-on, a guest might enlighten us by showing a quick demo if possible. Let's jump into the action and start with our today's episode. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to every one of you viewing this episode from different time zone. In this episode, we have Geetha Chockalingam from Singapore. She is currently working as a group manager at Avanar. She has around 17 years of experience in the industry, working with different global dynamics partners like HCL Power Objects, Wipro, and Avanar. I would say she is a veteran in Dynamics 365, working right from version 3. Can you believe that? She has implemented many enterprise-grade applications and has experience in various genres, right from pre-sales, delivery, and training. She's also one of our community leads in Singapore and co-leading ASEAN's BizApps Women in Tech events. Let us hear from her what she has today. Hello, Geetha. Thanks for joining today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jiva. Thank you. Thanks for calling me in today.
Oh,
how is the new normal treating you?
Sorry?
How is the new normal treating you?
All good, all good.
Good.
How's it going for you?
Yeah, going great.
All right. So, Geetha, I'm sure you must have worked in lots of integrations in Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. Before going into today's use case, this is something special I have for you. So I would like to know your thoughts about how technology has aided the integration and offered to the scalability, since I thought you would be the right person since you have worked from version 3. Can you please share some information on this?
Yeah, if you see back in 2008 and 9, we used to do the integration in silos. For every integration we used to do, and as the system scales up, you try to implement the integration for the new system separately, right? But as of today, if you see from Azure, we have so many components that helps us to, architect an enterprise-grade application, which will be scalable. And as new applications comes in, you would be able to easily extend your system to accommodate the new ones that are being added. That makes the digital transformation really quick and easy for the enterprises. It's cost effective, and I would say it's quick to go to market as well. Yeah,
that's true for sure. I could recollect a recent use case where a business user himself, without any coding experience, was able to migrate the documents from his SharePoint, where he has been maintaining for long time, and he was able to migrate that to Dynamics 365 with Microsoft Flow. So that's something like I would call revolutionary, right? Without writing single piece of code, and it's done completely by the business users. And I agree also with recent additions like webhooks and service bus, the integration has made more flexible, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, the webhooks addition to CRM is really interesting. Wherever you have many downstream systems and you had to do this publish subscribe model, wherein an event that happens in CRM and we have to let other systems know, it has really made it very easy now. You just handle your webhooks and then you send in a universal format information like in in the format of JSON or XML, and all the systems downstream would be able to get that information and possibly trigger any business processes that might be implemented in those systems. It has really made very, very easy and very, very efficient too, I would say. I would put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a lots of information. Glad to know. Okay, so we are excited to know about what use case you have for us today.
Mm-hmm.
So could you please share what exactly it's going to be?
There are many, but as you asked, I just had one thing on my mind that just came on my mind that I'm going to share with everyone today. Before I begin, I again reiterate, thank you so much, Jiva, for giving me this opportunity, to come and share this integration with everyone. So if you see this, it is a use case wherein from a multi-channel environment, you would be where the complaints or service requests are being logged, that is being created into CRM. And this architecture, we have made sure that it is scalable and robust, so that as they introduce new channels down the line, it would be easier for them to use the existing design and effectively monitor all these complaints, so that they would be able to maintain the quality and do continuous improvement to the quality of the service or the product whatsoever the customer might offer.
Got it. So I know you already answered my second question, in fact. So my second question is supposed to be what exactly the problem it solved and how it helped the business. Could you please again put it in?
Yeah, actually, I could add some more, because I just talked about business aspects, right? So if you see the business aspects of it, as I said, it has, since we have built a robust application, robust and scalable application integration, it will help them to add many channels seamlessly without further investing on this. And end of it, they would be able to get a 360 information, like I log in a case for a different product from a different channel, and I again try to come in via a different channel. It will be easier for them to get a 360 information of all this when it's been integrated into CRM, right? Any customer calls in, they would be able to see all these details. So that helps them in a long run to reduce the defects, or to improve the service, so that the customer is satisfied end of day. And the technical side of it is, you don't need to invest more and more cost as you as you introduce new channels into the system, and you would still be going ahead and using this design. Just call it and use it. I think as I show you in detail about the architecture, you would be able to easily figure that out, that it is easy, and there will be no further investment as they introduce new channels.
Got it. It looks exciting. So basically, it's so extensible and it's reusable, isn't it? Well, yeah. Then let's go into the action. And can you please brief about it?
Yeah, definitely. High time, right? Yeah. So I'm just opening up my slide that I had to share with you today.
So I like the background. So is that yours or done by your daughter?
Yeah, that was done by my daughter. Okay. She likes butterflies and flowers, and that's when we got this, and both of us did it as a project towards the weekend, sticking it on the wall.
She has a good picture as I think interior designer.
Yeah, she's creative. Nice. Okay, that's great. Jiva, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So this is a quick introduction slide, so that everyone, whoever is watching, they would be able to know about me. I'm Geetha Chockalingam, an enterprise architect from Avanade, who's part of the global COE and a community lead in Singapore. Okay, and this is my LinkedIn handle, and this is my blog handle that you see below, as you see my cursor. And yeah, this is a quick introduction about me. And let me move on to show you the architecture. Yeah, as I was explaining you, there are channels in which the customer is, meaning like the enterprise is receiving the service request or the complaints, and they have only these channels as of today. Like they can call a call center, and the agent can log in that complaint for them from the agent desktop application, and they could send an SMS to lodge a complaint, or they could log into their web portal and then create the complaint. So these are the only channels that they have today, but they are having a plan to introduce more assisted and self-service channels going forward. So with these channels in place, how did we approach it? Is like, we had an Azure function which was just exposed, so that any channel, whenever a complaint has been created, they will just pass on that information in a universal JSON format, and then this function would in turn put that information into a service bus, which was then processed by a logic app, and then the logic app would create a case in Dynamics. In this scenario, what we did was all the credentials and details, we did not have it within this, and we just used Azure Key Vault to store these information and the configurations in. And also we had Azure function which did a retrieve retrieve function, wherein any of the channels the customer comes in and they would want to know the status of the already submitted complaints or so, they would be able to see. And internally, the technical component would be that these channels would call the API, the Azure Function API, get case status, and that would in turn talk to Dynamics CE, and it would return back the status. So this way, I would want to highlight, as I said, this is extensible and scalable. Because as you see, the service bus, we have used the service bus, so you don't need to worry about as you create the connectivity from the channel to CRM, whether it gets by any chance it gets disconnected, or there is a problem with the internet, or any means. If you have it in your service bus, you can control the retry times, right? You can retry as many times as possible, and you would have that information handy with you, so that you could plan your payloads at a later point in time as well. Say for example, you don't want to process it during the peak hours of the business. Yes, you could do so. You can just have it in your service bus, and then you can schedule your logic apps to just pick it in a particular scheduled manner. But as of today, what we have done is the Azure function puts the cases into the complaints into the service bus, and then from the service bus, as soon as a document or a JSON is being put in, the logic app will pick it, and then it will try to create a case. But yeah, this gives you a lot of control. As I said earlier, you could just plan how you can process these cases. And the logging wise also, it will be easier. You would be able to log any technical problems and then reprocess it or retry as many times as needed. And yeah, and in the other way, today we have only these channels, right? Tomorrow you are adding in a new channel. It will be easier for them to just call in that API and then push all the details in the same JSON format. And yeah, end of day, it goes ahead and creates a case into the system. There'll be nothing much that you may need to work on this, right? Even after 1 year or 2 years, you bring in a bot, you should still be able to quickly do this without any further coding that will be required in the backend.
So sorry, just curious to know. So as you said, when we want to add more channels, We can keep adding it here, and just by calling the APIs, it will handle internally, right? So how the errors or like logs, how it can be stored globally here, like in a common place?
Preferably, there are two things. If at all you are trying to store the information or the cases that have come in, right, you can use a blob, Azure blob, which will be a cost-effective mechanism for you to log all your service requests. This Logic app can put in your complaints into a blob and then also pass it on to CE. And on the other side of it, you would be able to do the logging into a separate entity within CE if at all you want to create a report from within CE, or you could push it into any other SQL, so that you could create the report from that space.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
So I think now with the CDS you have inbuilt export to data lake, and as such, like in the DES services, data export services.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So I have one more. Seeing this, I have one more question. So let's say some organizations, right? So the internal employees itself will raise some queries if they have. They might not use Dynamics 365. They will be using their own internal system where they log in the timesheet, where they have the profile, where they will have a place to complain, about an HR issue or could be any finance issue, something like that. So can we also leverage that data and so that we can redirect it to the appropriate people here in this system?
Yeah, in that case, right, I presume that in this scenario, we have considered an online CRM, right? So when you have an internal system, one of your channel is an internal system, which is on-premise, then possibly you could just open up the port for you to connect to the internet from that app server, web application server, and then you could call this API, Azure Function API, so that it could pass in the JSON and effectively create the case into Dynamics CE. The other way around, if you have Dynamics CRM within on-premise, and you are having your internet application in that scenario as well, instead of straight away having this connection from Logic App, you might need to introduce the Azure gateway for you to connect to your on-premise CRM for you to create your case. But end of day, any place you just try to call this create case API, which will be published to the internet, and anyone having those keys, they would be able to call in this API and feed in that JSON, and the system will take care of it.
Got it. Excellent. So the retries, if, as you said, the service bus, we will have the items in the bus, and if there is any issues, we will do the retry. So that will also be taken care by the Logic App in this case, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. We just had it in Logic App. You're right, Jiva.
Got it. And sorry, I mean, I'm just throwing you questions because it's kind of exciting for me. So if I want to leverage Power Platform with this one, with recent like Power Apps, citizen developers, if they can build any apps and they want to do something with this, how that can be added here?
That will be quite simple as well, because Logic App and Power Automate are like similar, right? So they could use the Power Automate and just push in the details into a CDS, and then they can have a simple Canvas app which they can build for them to quickly view into the complaints.
Got it. So they can just use the custom connectors to call the Azure function, and then everything is same. The rest, all the things are same, right?
Yeah. You're right.
Perfect. Yeah, I think such a flexible model, I would say.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for answering those questions, Geetha. Please go ahead. I'm sorry to chip in.
Hey, no problem at all, Jiva. That's my pleasure. I've almost completed my explanations. This is a quick use case that I thought of sharing with everyone today.
All right. Thank you again, Geetha. It's such a great use case, very interesting to know the technical aspects and know consideration points to devise a scalable integration like this. I'm sure it's going to be helpful to the viewers. And well, I'm sharing your social media handle in the description. Okay. And I hope if anyone wants to reach out to you on this, would you be able to assist them?
Yeah, that would be my pleasure. I would be more than happy to assist.
Thank you. Thank you so much then. So it's such a pleasure, Geetha, to have you today. And thanks again. Take care and stay safe.
Thanks, Jeeva. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys for watching. I'm sure the use case about the integration and the architecture shared by Geetha might have given you a clear picture of the integration aspects of how cases can be captured in a Dynamics 365 customer engagement in a multi-channel environment. So if you have any interesting integration use case within Dynamics 365 or Power Platform, within the Microsoft suite or with any third-party application, and you would like to share it to the world, leave your comments or reach out to me in social media, and see you in the next episode with a different use case. Please do like the video, share it if it's interesting. Also check the other videos in the Let's Integrate video series and subscribe to my channel if you haven't.